So each of you can start with a 2-minute intro. Let's start with Zach and then go to Len.
Hi, I'm Len Zac. I'm a CPA. Last time I was before you folks, can you hear me? Okay, last time I was before the Wellstone Club was 10 years ago when I ran for city auditor. And I pointed out that I was the longtime treasurer of the Police Accountability Coalition, whereas my opponent was being supported by the police. And all it took, though, was one person in the audience yelling out, "Len is anti-labor," and you endorsed my opponent. Well, fast forward, my opponent was a registered American independent right up to the day she filed. And true to form, during her tenure, she made her assistant auditor a black guy, get down on his hands and knees and remove the stains from her rug. That was documented by the East Bay Express. Anyhow, that's my background, but honestly, I'd rather be in front of a, shall we say, hostile, engaged audience than an audience of people who so often in Oakland, they pay no attention to local Oakland affairs. They can't even tell you who their council member is. That drives me nuts. I'd much rather talk in front of you folks. So thank you for having me here, and you can go ahead and use me as a voodoo doll and stick pins in me. I'm good. Hey, look, I'm one of the organizers of each of the recalls. That's how evil I am, right? I'm really evil. Okay, I know. Hey, if you have tomatoes, you can throw those too. Okay. Anyway, thank you for having me here. Okay, look, I'll just hit my 3 main points in my platform. 30 seconds? Okay, basically, I'll just say my overall point. For the last 3 decades, our elected local officials have tried to fix serious society-wide problems, such as poverty, the unhoused, racism, and global warming, instead of first delivering basic services to residents and businesses. Oakland is a poor city with a lot of needy people. We're doing a bad job of fixing those basic problems, and we're also doing a bad job of delivering essential services. We have to decide what we're going to do. That's why I would have voted to oppose this last budget also.
Zach, take it away.
Thank you. My name is Zach Unger. I am a lifelong Oaklander. I actually live on the same street where I grew up in North Oakland. My kids are fond of telling me that means my life has gone nowhere. I think it means that I have a real sense of place and that I'm here in Oakland. I also am the only candidate, I think, ever in Oakland who can say that he has spent the night in every neighborhood in Oakland. And that is not because I have a very active romantic life, but it's because I've been an Oakland firefighter for 27 years. And as an Oakland firefighter, we get the chance to really embed ourselves in the community. Not just come in for a couple of hours, but to really live in these communities and get to know folks who live there, kids who come by to get their bike tires pumped up. I've also been the president of our union for the last 10 years. And I am unapologetically a fan of labor and a friend of labor. I'm a 4th-generation labor leader, and I'm not going to make any apologies for that. I think that labor in Oakland has a responsibility to work hand in hand with business and with all other parts of government in Oakland. And I'm very proud of the fact that I've served on the steering committee for Measure Y, Measure Z, the replacement for Measure Z that we're voting on now, and the progressive gross receipts tax Measure T. Thank you. I was also on the Peralta Community College Oversight Board, where I made sure that the money that was taxed from you all was spent to ensure student success, not to ensure higher administrative bloat. And I'm very proud of the fact that I have a background working with the city. I've worked in infrastructure with the city. I've worked on long-term pension debt restructuring with the city. And when we talk about our priorities for the city, I'll give you 3. Number 1 is affordable housing. I think that the inability to house our neighbors and our fellow humans is the moral failing of this generation. And we need to do more to make that scourge of this generation go away. We need to get people into homes, and I think there are a lot of ways we can do that. Number 2, public safety. I think we've been given a false choice between safety and civil rights. That's a false choice, and the discourse online has been deformed, and I think it has not been helpful. I believe that we can have a police department that keeps us safe, but that also doesn't violate civil rights, that doesn't take advantage of the vulnerable in our community, doesn't racially profile. That is what we can have and what we must have. And then my 3rd priority is ending what I call the chaos tax in Oakland. We've all experienced it when you try to get something done and there's 12 levels of bureaucracy that you have to go through. That affects businesses, which we must support. That affects homeowners, who we must convince to stay and remain in Oakland. And it affects everyone doing business and working here. I'm proud of the work that I've done in Oakland. I'm proud of the fact that I've been a firefighter. I worked hard to bring macro under the umbrella of the Oakland Fire Department because I think that is the best spot for it. We are a trusted brand in Oakland. And I am very excited about working with everyone on the council, working with everyone in the city who I've met over the past 30 years as a firefighter and the last 50 years as a human being in Oakland. And I think that we have a real opportunity to bring change to Oakland and to improve this city by working collaboratively.
Thank you both. We've got 1 minute each for this next question. Who would you see as your biggest allies on the council, including current council members and candidates? And Zach, we'll start with you.
So if you look at my list of endorsements, I've been endorsed by 14 current and former city council members. And you'll see some people on there you like, you'll see some people on there you don't like. You'll see some people on there who really don't like each other. And I'm really proud of that. I think that's a testament to the fact that people who don't always agree on things understand that I'm someone who can work collaboratively with people on all sides. I would say right now I have a great relationship with all 8 members of the council. And we may have a lot of turnover in this next year. We're gonna have a lot of new people. And that ability to focus on the next thing rather than relitigating the last fight is, I think, essential. If you are someone who is always fighting and always making enemies, you're never gonna be able to get anything done. I wanna work collaboratively with whoever ends up on the council, the way I have always worked collaboratively with whoever's been on the council.
I have good relationships with Noel Gallo. Oh yeah, hi. Yeah, I have a good relationship with Noel Gallo and Trevor Reed. I have not Trevor Reed and Noel Gallo. I have not talked yet with Councilwoman Ramachandran, but she seems pretty reasonable to me. For sure. So I would say those would be the 3 people who I'd say I could work with well. And so I've observed Noel Gallo and Reed, who seem very affable people, and every time they propose something, the other people on the council shoot them down. So I don't think it's a matter of conforming of how well you get along with people. I think there's been a feeling in there that if you're in control, you don't have to listen to the other people, and that's not a good attitude for anyone to have.
All right. The next question is, this year the City Council was able to balance the budget without layoffs by making strategic cuts and selling their share of the Coliseum, assuming the sale goes through by September. What would your approach to budgeting be in the next cycle to ensure that city services are not reduced? So you want to start? And so that
Repeat that because it got a little muffled.
I'll repeat that and I'll go slower. This year, the City Council was able to balance the budget without layoffs by making strategic cuts and selling their share of the Coliseum, assuming the sale goes through by September. What would your approach to budgeting be in the next cycle to ensure that city services are not reduced?
Okay.
So let's start with Len and then go to Zach. 2 minutes each.
Okay, Red, yes? Okay, yes. I would have started the budget discussion a year ago. The city budget staff is extremely competent. They warned the entire council and the mayor that we were in deep doo-doo in March of 2023. After the so-called balanced budget of June of 2023, again, they said this is not truly sustainable. And again, this March, they warned the whole council and the mayor and the city budget advisory commission said the same thing. But the mayor didn't listen, the council didn't listen, they waited to the last minute, and they balanced it with this bullshit one-time sale, which probably might not even go through because there's remediation problems there. Okay, they should have had this discussion a long time ago. I can't tell you I have my preferences for what the priorities should be, but they should have given everyone a chance to set the priorities and create a sustainable budget that's good for at least 5 years. And there should be a charter amendment that forces the council and the mayor to conform to the projected revenue and expenses that their own staff and the Citizens Budget Advisory Commission sets. because right now they can basically ignore the city budget staff and the advisory commission. That would prevent what happened.
Well, this is an easy one. You just steal the Coliseum back and sell it again next year. We can do that over and over, right? No, I think we have a real structural deficit problem in Oakland, and we have been able